So, welcome to yoga. We're starting out with rolling the feet because the feet have an impact on the entire body. And namaste to those of us joining from home on YouTube. You can use a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, or a golf ball for this. Golf ball is very intense, but I like it personally because I've been rolling my feet for so long, and it helps me find specific tendons and fascias that need attention. So while we're rolling the feet, let's send some gravity. Let's send some gratitude to the feet and to the benevolent higher power of the universe that gave us these wonderful feet. Knowing that we would need something strong and simple to carry us through our lives. And when you think about the foot, it's really quite a feat of engineering. With the arches in the feet, because we know that arches are the most stable architectural element to support the most weight possible with the least amount of matter. And they flex, they move as we need them to accommodate lots of different types of activities. So we can switch sides. Going up and down the whole foot a few times first can help warm up the tissues, and then if you have specific spots that are tight, you can focus in on them with stillness, and then to add extra pressure, you would just lean over and put your body weight through your elbows into your thighs. Heels can be very tight. I just encourage you to explore the entire foot. You never know where you're going to find little goodies. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the balls can go away for now. We're done with them. And let's make sure we're seated comfortably in the chair. So the blanket is there to lift you up a little higher if you need it. I like it because it's also warm. These chairs are kind of cold. If you need extra lift, you can fold your blanket over again and you can sit up high. That might be really good for you, Susan, because you're so tall. And we want the hips higher than the knees, and that encourages better alignment of the pelvis. So if you want, you can grab that blanket too, and you can stack them. So the next thing we'll be working on is just a warm-up for the spine. So with the hands on the thighs, we'll make sure that we have the toes pointed forward and a very small amount of pressure through the ball of the foot, the big toe knuckle of the foot, to encourage neutral alignment of hips, knees, and ankles. We can roll the shoulders back just one time, making sure that we are lifting the head straight up, tall, Take a big breath, and as you exhale, we'll round the back, pulling the belly button in. Really try to engage your abdominals here, and then on the inhale, we'll reverse that shape, stretching out the chest by bringing the shoulder blades together behind, maybe even lifting up the chin if that feels okay for your neck. And we'll continue that movement, exhaling here and inhaling here. Good, and then from here, let's start some wise woman circles. Churning the belly. Use your head here for this movement too, to get a little extra warm up for your neck. Churning the belly. Good, and then we can reverse direction too. It's inevitable that one direction will feel different. If you have any areas where movement is less easy, just try to breathe into that, and I invite you to pause as you go through those. Slow down or pause completely into those areas of stiffness and breathing into them. Good. And then we'll spiral inward. So our circles get a little bit smaller, until we find ourselves right in the center of stillness. Take a deep breath into that stillness. Let it go slowly through your nose. Picture your spine tall like the Eiffel Tower, just reaching all the way up to the stars. So let's do some shoulder circles. We'll spend more time on these this time. Going back, just feeling into the parts of the shoulder blade that need a little extra love. And then reversing direction, going back to forward. Notice how different that feels. Try to track the movement of your shoulder blade all throughout the circle and notice the different movements that your shoulder blade makes. First pulling back towards the spine and then lifting up and then coming forward and then moving down. If you have stickiness in your shoulder blades, see if you can identify particularly which movement is holding that stickiness. Good. And then we'll roll back one last time. Letting the palms come down at your sides. Turn the palms towards the front of your mat. Spread your fingers wide. Pull your shoulder blades slightly together behind you. See if you can feel the muscles at the bottom corner of those shoulder blades, pulling them towards the spine. And then if you bring your belly button in a little bit, lift your pelvic floor and lift your head up to the ceiling, bringing the chin slightly inward. Can you take a breath, a deep breath into your entire rib cage and feel it expand in all directions while you continue to hold some engagement, some lift in that pelvic floor and the lower abdominal muscles. And then exhaling. And this is how we breathe when we're using our core, like for exercise, for example, or for bending over. If we need to create some stability in the lower body, we can still get a full, complete breath into the lungs with expansion of the diaphragm. Feel into that. And this is victory pose. Research shows that people who stand in victory pose for a few moments before giving a speech are perceived by the audience to have more confidence and competence. Just another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shaking out any part of you that needs to be shaken. Let's move on to the wrists. So, still seated straight and tall. We'll put the hands out in front with the palms facing down, and then we'll make fists. Turn the knuckles down towards the floor. Feel the stretch across the top of the wrist. And then we'll reverse that shape. We'll move through that a few more times. Good, and then we can start at our neutral position and go side to side, so inward and outward with the wrists. And this is kind of harder to do. We try to keep the forearms completely still. You guys are doing great. And I'll bet you're noticing one wrist is tighter than the other, and it's most likely the wrist that you use for your mouse. Yeah, or for writing. Okay, and then we'll do some circles. Trying to hit all 4 of those points within the circle. Keeping the forearms completely still and reverse direction. Okay, and then let's shake out those wrists. Okay, we're going to work the neck a little bit. So whenever you're working the neck and stretching the neck, it's important to remember not to put too much pressure, not to go into any stretch that feels too intense. We want it to be gentle, and over time allow that neck to unwind over weeks and months, not trying to get it all in one day. So we're going to start with just a really simple side-to-side movement. See if you can lower your ear towards your shoulder. And when you do that, see what muscles you feel stretching in the side of your neck. And also see what you're doing with your chin. Sometimes people want to poke their chin out as they do this, and other people want to bring their chin in. So just notice what your pattern is, and that's going to indicate to you where your tight muscles are. So I'll invite you to try to do the opposite of what your automatic pattern is. So if you normally would stick your chin out here, try bringing it in and see what else you can notice with that slightly different alignment. And then we can even rock up and down a little bit, bringing the chin in and out to cross over all the different fibers of the side of the neck. Good, and then we'll come back to center. Pause for a moment in center. Find your neutral alignment, your seated mountain pose, and then compare the right side of your neck to the left side, just feeling the difference in sensation. Next, we'll stretch the opposite side, bringing ear to shoulder again. Good. Okay, so then we'll come back to center and we'll bring the chin down towards the chest. Stretching out the back of the neck, and sometimes people feel this all the way down the back, just depending on how tight you are. And while you're here, you can take a deep breath. Let it go slowly. So we're going to try rolling the neck up one bone at a time from the bottom up. So we're bringing up C6, C5, C4. The chin will stay tucked until the very end, and then we can unfurl the top of the neck, sticking the chin out. The same way a frond of a fern unfurls in the forest. We can reverse that, tucking the chin, rolling the neck down. And this time, while your chin is tucked, I invite you to roll slightly side to side with the head so that you might feel the different muscles on either side of the neck and the way they extend all the way down the upper back. Coming back to center, we'll unfurl once more, stretching out the front of the throat if that feels okay for your neck. Tuck the chin and then come back to your neutral position. Now some rotation. We'll just rotate the head to the side and hold that rotation for about 3 seconds, really pushing into the end range of motion, and then we'll go the other way. This way you're just using the power of your very own muscles to increased range of motion, strengthen the neck. No resistance from any outside force. Okay, coming back to center, we're going to start with a few salutations. We can inhale the arms wide and bring them up, reaching for the stars. And as you're reaching, try to sink your shoulder blades down your back. And then on the exhale, we can lean forward into a forward bend, dropping the head. Good. And we're going to do that a little bit faster now, so we'll just inhale up and exhale down. And if your tummy hurts at all in this forward bend, you can take your legs really wide and make more room. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Imagine yourself saluting the sun and all of creation as dawn sheds soft, gentle light. Waking up to a brand new day. Each day is like a whole new life. Beautiful. So we'll come back to seated and we'll try an easy twist. Let's see. Let's do this one. Cactus arms. Take a big breath. Tuck the chin and we'll exhale and twist and just hold there, noticing where the strength in your body is, where there's a little tightness. We'll inhale to center and exhale other side. And now we're going to start moving a little bit more quickly. So inhale center, exhale side. Inhale center, exhale side. If you get dizzy, take a break. Every time you exhale, see if you can feel your abdominal muscles. Coming back to center, rest your hands on your lap, a big breath into your belly. Good. All right, so let's move on to the lower body a little for a few minutes here. We're going to start with some ankle circles. Really nice and slow ankle circles. Just feeling into how those ankles are moving today. Perhaps there's a snap, crackle, and pop. Okay, and then other way. Good. We'll try the other side. Other way. Okay, good. We'll set those down, and then we'll try bringing the feet as close as possible to the body while keeping them flat on the floor. And then we can lean over and put a little bit of weight on them. So we're really trying to get to the maximum dorsiflexion here. And then pretend you're stepping on the gas pedal with both feet as you press into the mat without lifting the heels. Pull your belly in for some support. Try to keep your spine nice and long. Shoulders melting down the back, head lengthening upward. And then we can add the arms. One arm, two arms, or no arms. Strengthening the belly. And now press into the floor through the entire foot, pretending we're in chair pose, Utkatasana, which actually translates to fierce. And that makes a lot of sense because this pose is very fierce. It uses a lot of energy, a lot of back strength, core strength. And as we're in this pose, we're letting the arm bones sink down into the shoulder joints. And we're reaching up through the top of the head, and we're using all the muscles of the leg. So pretend you're really standing here. Engage your quad muscles, your thighs, your glutes. And then we'll bring the hands down. Well done. And from that very same position, starting up nice and tall, we'll lift the heels. Stretching out the front of the ankle. Lifting those heels as high as possible, coming up onto the tippy toes. And we'll lower the heels. Lift and lower. All the way up and all the way down. Good. One last time. Awesome. So let's try this one. We're going to cross. We were doing this one last week, actually. And I thought, maybe I should do this first as a warm-up. We're going to cross the figure 4 position and lean forward into that thigh, allowing a nice big stretch in the glute muscles. And while you're here, don't just collapse. Try to keep your spine nice and straight, belly pulled in, chin slightly tucked, top of the head reaching for the stars. Pulling in the belly to flatten out that low back. So if you know that you have a tendency to have a really curved low back, we call it hyperlordosis. Some old school doctors used to call it sway back. I had a doctor tell me that once, and I thought, I'm not a horse. But if that's your pattern, try to give a little extra thought to flattening that out by pulling the belly in. And opposite, if your pattern is to shoot the low back out behind you, try pointing your tailbone out behind you, rolling forward onto your sits bones. This way we get to use pigeon pose, Kapotasana, as an active pose, it's back strengthener. Okay, and now we're ready to cross at the knee as much as that's possible. Okay, and then lean forward. And here's where, if you don't have any bulging discs, you can drape yourself over that leg. If you do have low back issues like bulging and herniated discs, try to keep your back straight. In whatever position you're in, undoubtedly you can feel the pressure of your thigh pressing into your bladder. This can be really helpful for training a little bit of relaxation into the pelvic floor. So if you release any pressure that you might be subconsciously putting on that bladder, allow that to release. Allow the muscles and fascia around all the structures in your pelvis to soften, and welcome this pressure from your leg as a massage. And just so try to relax into that massage the same way you would try to relax on the massage table when your therapist is getting into an area that's kind of sensitive. Just try to relax as much as possible. And then we're going to come up and we can switch sides. So first we do the figure 4, Kapotasana, leaning forward. Ooh, this one's tighter for me. What about you guys? Yeah? Isn't it interesting how we always do the easy side first and we do the hard side last? Not even aware that that's what we're doing. Okay, good. We're doing great. Just breathing into the stretch, wherever it may be. Breathing into the challenge of keeping the back straight. Making sure you send loving compassion to the parts of you that are feeling challenged right now. And then we'll come up and cross at the knee. Go forward. Hear the sounds outside the room, one by one. And we'll come back up. And we're going to stretch the legs with the strap. So find your strap. And then just, if you already have a loop, you can loop it like this. But if you don't, it's fine. You can just use it like this. We're going to try a little boat pose, Navasana. And this will be strengthening for the core as well as the back and stretching for the hamstrings. So with the legs straight and the toes pulled back, we'll roll the shoulders back and tuck those shoulder blades into their spot down in the upper mid-back. Lifting the leg, we can lean back, so use your torso as a counterweight here to help you. And then this is the pose. So we're pulling in the low belly and pulling up the pelvic floor, working to keep that spine nice and straight. Good. Try to engage your quad muscles by lifting the kneecaps. And then we can take both ends of the strap in the opposite hand and then pull the leg across the center line, keeping the torso and the pelvis and the hips all pointed forward, just pulling that. So we'll feel the stretch here. And maybe even all the way up into the hips sometimes, yeah. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We can release that down to the floor, and we'll try the other side. Okay. Leaning back onto your sitting bones, pulling in the belly, rolling shoulders back and down, chin slightly tucked, toes pulled all the way in, strengthening the upper back here, core, and then we'll take both ends of the strap in the opposite hand. The entire body stays in the same position while the leg comes across towards the center line of the body. Shoulders still down, shoulder blades still tucked behind you. If you bring your elbow in, you might find it a little bit easier. And now you can feel those upper back muscles. Yeah, good. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to lower down. Okay, taking the strap off. We're going to move back up to the upper body, specifically neck and shoulders, working on the strength of the deep cervical flexors. So your deep cervical flexors live behind your trachea and your esophagus. So everything that's here in the front of the throat, if you imagine what's behind that, you have muscles on the front, on the round, smooth part of your spine that are like the abdominal muscles of your neck. They work to crunch. So we're going to do some neck crunches. They work to keep your neck, the back of your neck, really long, holding the head in the back position with a neutral position so we can avoid that. So it's reversing this kind of posture. So the first thing is to just try a few little chin tucks, and if you ever do this at home, you can do it laying on the floor. It's using gravity to create a little extra resistance, but for now we'll just do it in the chair. And I want you to pretend that you're getting a pie in the face and you're moving your head back and tucking the chin down, and then release that. So I'll give you a second or two to experiment with that and see if you can feel those muscles. Okay, so now that we've done that, does anybody have a question? Okay. All right. So we're going to try holding that while we do other stuff, which is what life is, yeah? Holding good posture while you do lots of things. So we're going to tuck the chin, hold the head back. Remember, use your core for some support. We're going to turn the hands out into victory position. And then we're going to bring the fingertips behind the head and see if you can do that without moving your head. And then bring them down. Was that easy, hard, or medium? Okay, let's try it a couple more times. Rotating the shoulder blades down the back as the hands come up. We'll try that this time. Shoulder blades go down as the hands come up. Okay, good. Just one more. This time we'll hold. And we'll try driving the elbows back as we keep the head in that same chin tucked position. Really feeling the muscles of the upper back here. What's up? You got a question? Okay. Okay, good. It looks like you were pondering something. Okay, we're gonna go down. Roll, shake, whatever you need to do. This next one is gonna be a stretch for the shoulders, and then we'll add the neck. So get your strap. Just drape it over your hand like this. Okay? And those of you at home, you can use a belt, you can, whatever you have on hand, maybe even a towel would work for this. So we're going to bring that around behind, so your strap is behind you. With your other hand, you're going to reach for the strap and hold on to it on both ends of the strap. And for those of us with super tight shoulders, this is already a big stretch and you don't have to change anything. Those of us who have a little bit more shoulder mobility might be able to walk the bottom hand up closer to the top hand. But take care here, because putting a lot of force on the front of your shoulder joint, so like right here, you can strain tissue, you can sometimes even dislocate the shoulder if you're already, if you've already dislocated it, it's easy to do that again, especially if it hasn't been very long. So from here, now we're going to bring the head back, chin down. And notice, having the hands and the shoulders in this position, maybe the head really wants to push out and push the chin out. That's a compensation pattern. And if bringing the head back and the chin down makes the shoulder stretch intolerable, just release the strap a little bit. Widen the distance between your hands. Take a big breath into your rib cage while holding your core muscles steady. Let that go slowly. And then we can release, and we'll try the other side after we shake a little bit. Chicken. Oh, that actually feels good. Yeah, some rotation. Okay, let's do that again on the other side. So holding the strap like this, and then we can go behind, reach behind. And so the bottom hand that's reaching behind, the palm is facing behind you, thumb is up. And when you find your perfect amount of stretch, engage your core muscles, straighten your spine, and bring the head back and the chin down. Big breath into the rib cage. Good. And we'll release the strap. We'll release the arms. And we'll do a little shaky, shake, shake. Good. Let's do just a few shoulder rotations. Hold this position for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And now we will take off the socks and do the really fun part of class. I need to think of a silly name for this, so maybe you guys can help me with that. I'll demonstrate first what we're doing. Remember when we did chair pose? We're going to do that and come up. Walk around the chair. Sit down. And then we get up, walk around the chair the other direction. And while we're walking, we're keeping the spine upright. And sit down, trying to keep the spine straight. Use the legs, use the core with all the transitions. Okay. All right, and if you're really struggling with your knees, you can stack more blankets on top of each other and have a higher rising point. So ready? Up. That's what I'm talking about. Have some extra blankets. There you go. Here's another one. Okay, so we'll walk around. Ready? Toes pointing forward. Sit. Good. And then we stand up. Walk around the other way. Like a queen. Pretend you have a book on your head. And you're practicing like the princesses of yore. Practicing to be a queen. I know. Up. Walk around. Mountain pose. Set yourself up before you go down. Really intentionally use those legs. Use that core all the way down. Okay. And then all the way up. Last one, I promise. And before we sit down this time, let's do a big stretch. Up, 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 up. Wiggling fingers, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, more please. And then we can sit down. Good, okay. And we'll close with some abdominal breathing. So with your hand on your belly, take a big deep breath all the way down into your hands. On the exhale, pull up pelvic floor, pull in lower belly. Engage all the belly muscles all the way up to the sternum like you're zipping up some kind of a brace in front of you. Inhale. Let your belly relax and fill. And exhale. Lift and strengthen. Your inner lift. Inhale up. Exhale. So while the front of the body looks like it's crunching a little, we're actually experiencing a big lift and inhaling. If you like, you can use your arms here. Relax all the parts of your body except the parts that you're using to move your breath. So the face is soft, the legs are soft, the low back is soft. And then we can relax with the hands on the thighs. Palms down if you're feeling a need for grounding, presence. Palms up if you're willing to receive messages, energy from the divine force out in the universe. Scan your body from head to toe. From toe to head. And bring your hands together in front of your chest. And focus your attention on the sensation of your hands touching each other. May you go out into the world and carry with you for the rest of your day this peace. May this peace travel through all of your cells and transmit itself out into the world around you for the benefit of the people that you come into contact with. May all beings everywhere be happy, peaceful, and free. And may our thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the happiness of all beings everywhere.